Ray has an interesting one. What has been the difference you've enjoyed the most about absorbing Star Wars content in literature basis versus a visual medium?
I mean, the visual medium. I mean, in the literature basis one, I'm not reading as much either because I've been listening to it. It's been nice to be able to.
Sure.
I think my issue is that I have trouble visualizing. So, like, I think this one, Brotherhood, Jedi Master, or Master and Apprentice, I feel like those ones have been some of my favorite books because, like, High Republic was fun and good, but it's a lot more of me trying to put together what it looks like and what the worlds are like and who these Jedi are. Whereas, since my visualization mentally is maybe less than maybe yours or other people's, I feel like when I'm taking, like, this one, I'm picturing, like, there's Anakin from Clone Wars. Here's Thrawn from Rebels, you know. Here's Darth Vader. I know what Darth Vader looks like. And I'm putting what I already know of them together, and it works really well for me. Yeah. And I don't have to do that when I watch something because clearly it's just there it is.
Well, and it's Star Wars. It's not extremely subtle. Like when you're watching Episode 1 and you see Darth Maul and you go, well, that's a bad guy.
Sure, yeah.
Visually, I can tell in 1 second and looking at him, bad guy, you know? You can't do that in literature. Unless you're just told.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Star Wars belongs in the visual medium. I mean, the reason lightsabers are so great is because of the visual and the sound and all the stuff that it makes you feel. And I never really get, you know, the feeling I get from when I hear versus reading snap hiss. You know, it just doesn't compare.
It's different, sure.
Yeah, so it's different. I don't really, it's not like I prefer one over the other, but they're different.
Darkwing, I don't think we did this one yet. Do you think Thrawn works a lot better in a book format where you can see or hear his inner thoughts and seeing people's facial features, etc., whereas opposed to on screen, it would just be a quick look potentially? I do think there's things in book format that I've gotten that I like better than watching visually.
Yeah.
The usage of force when it's being described doesn't come across as well, I don't think, of like how much energy are they exerting? How taxing is this on their body? I'm watching it like I'm watching a superhero fight, and I'm just like, yeah, look at him go. And I'm not thinking about like all the effort that's going into it. And I think it's similar to the same idea of like, how's Thrawn figuring out how someone is lying to them or what they're doing, and having that book, which I feel like this book did it less than the first book, and I kind of missed that a little bit, but then they'd bring it back in every once in a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the question is like, is it better? Like, you play to the strength of the format that you're in, right?
Sure.
So if it's not going to work visually, you don't do it. If it's not going to work in literature, you don't do it that way, right? Like, I don't necessarily think one is better than the other. It's just, if you're going to, you know, if you're going to have the caliber of actor like Lars Mikkelsen, you know, be there, then you're going to start reading into a lot of the things that he does because he can give you those certain looks and he's so subtle and he's so threatening while whispering, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we do it all the time when Vader is actually a perfect thing. Like when it's Vader, we can be in his head. And I know exactly what he's thinking. But in the movies, I have no idea what he's thinking. And what I think he's thinking changes depending on what era I'm watching from. If I was just watching the original trilogy, I could think that he's thinking something completely differently. But after watching the prequels, I can say, no, he's thinking about this. And it's completely different. And you can only do that in a movie when, you know, there is no, they pause for a moment and, you know, think about what you will, you know. But in a movie, you can pause on Vader's mask and try to guess. But the book doesn't just like stop and let you think about it, you know. You generally know what he's thinking because you're in his head.
Sure.
So it's just, there's strengths on each one.
It makes me think of like when the Falcon escapes in Empire.
Yeah.
And he's like looks and he looks down and he looks and he looks back and he walks away.
And he doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah, I'm like, what's he thinking there? Is he thinking about Luke? Is he thinking about, is he angry because it escaped? Is he thinking his people have failed him? You know, like I don't know exactly what he's thinking about. Whereas in a book you do, but you're just watching that.
Exactly.
And I also relate it maybe to what you're saying with like with doing like a fight, like doing choreography. I don't think like is a live performance better or worse than a film performance.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be different, right? If
Very
you're doing something live, it may be needing to be looked at in a 360 format or maybe 180 degrees. Whereas in filming aspects of that, you don't have to necessarily sell things the same way as you would on a live format.
Yeah.
Like you can use camera movements to hide and change the way things look to where it looks more dangerous or more I don't know, a closer swing
Sure.
and stuff like that.
Well, you can also across an edit, the way you're doing an effect can completely change, but the audience doesn't know that.
Sure.
So it's selling that magic trick, and literature doesn't necessarily have those type of magic tricks, right? Like it's what's on the page.
Sure.
And that's all there is. But film, you bring your eyes and your thoughts into it, and the filmmaker sometimes leaves that open.
Sure.
I mean, it can happen in literature, but it's a different language.
Yeah.
Artistic language.
I think the to come back towards the initial question with like, is he better in Rebels or is he better in the books? All I know so far is that I definitely enjoyed him a lot in Rebels, and then I just feel like I had more of him in this book.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's necessarily that I enjoyed him more in the book, but there was more of him.
I
feel like
enjoyed him in Rebels. I got to know him in the book.
Sure.
I guess, right?
So, no. I enjoyed both. I don't have
Yeah.
one that necessarily takes over the other one yet.
Yep.